whites would look at you as white until they found out you were black. So, for survival, many of them left New Orleans. A lot of them went to California to assimilate into white America.
They moved from here to make decent salaries. You couldn't make any money here. People were poor. Most of the men were trading. And those that were able to get a college education, what were they? School teachers. You know what they paid a school teacher? They still pay them nothing. So can you imagine what they paid them 50 years ago? Nothing. Most of them went up there, and they all did well. They bought nice homes, which they probably would never have bought here. They were bricklayers, carpenters, plasterers. We had the best. New Orleans had the best.
Typically, if Creoles moved from New Orleans, they moved to California because of the fact that they could pass white and that we got better jobs, better housing. Others who, somebody might say, oh, there's a Paso Blanc. People were not Paso Blancs, just didn't walk around with a sign on your back saying I'm black. You could have easily just gone into the bathroom labeled white only. I remember doing it as a child. And I told my mom, I said, I'm not going in that bathroom. Because I remember last time we were at Woolworth, the colored-only bathroom was really dirty. And it's not that people dirtied it more, they just didn't clean it enough. I'm going in the other bathroom, it can't be worse. And sure enough, it was cleaner. You know, nobody questioned it. It's not that Paso Blanc, it's that you took, you know, advantage of opportunities.
When the bus was segregated with a portion of a board this long for our colored patrons, some of the Paso Blancs would go, you know, on that side. Believe it or not, some of the Negroes didn't like to say, she is, she is a Creole, and it was called a disturbance. Sometimes, if the driver was ugly, he could have you arrested for sitting in a white place. But Marlo's sister was almost white. Believe it or not, she sat in a white place. She said, hi, kid. She honked at her colored friend, and she was sitting behind the screen. But she was just lucky that they didn't tell on her.
I applied for a job in the French quarters at one candy store, which had requested light-skinned colored girl. Well, I went for the job, and he told me I was not the kind of light-skinned colored girl he wanted because I would look like them. So I decided then there was only one other thing I could do. I did not live as white, but I did work as white at a few jobs. It wasn't too many places that Creoles could actually make a halfway decent living, because we never made a good living unless you worked as white. Then you got a little better living. But if you worked as colored, your funds was insufficient at all times.
The ones who were physically able to do it felt they could be more successful if they were white. They could compete better without the race label. I could see their point. I may not have approved of it, but then I wasn't able to do it. You know, the opinion would have to come from someone who was able to do it and chose not to.
When their children went to school, it really wasn't integrated. So they sent them where they all go, to St. Louis Cathedral, you know. That's where most of them went. One girl in particular that we came up with, we would all be on a bus. We'd get off at Bourbon and Orleans because my school was in the French quarters. And she'd stay on to go a few blocks up to St. Louis Cathedral, St. Louis School. And we would be getting, some of the kids would really call out words, you know, Paso Blanc and all kinds of stuff. We knew her. But it wasn't her fault. And we were young, but we realized that now her parents made her go, her and her brother. But they went, along with a whole lot of others that we knew.
Oh, my family is Paso Blancs. The Richaud, some of the Richaud family, my grandma didn't see them after they became adults because they all went white. Not for the real sexual reason, but it was just for the advancement in their style of living. If you look at the religious thing, hey, that's never been on equal ground at all, you know, because they practiced segregation since they came here, you know, and it's not really much better now.
What I feel bad about is the fact that in a lot of Creole families, many members had to pass for jobs, and in all honesty, it destroyed a lot of Creole families because we can't have a family reunion. If we do, we'll have only half a family. The families are gone. I got more cousins who live as white than who live as Creoles.
His parent elder, with piercing eyes, replied compassionately, "I know, my son, you want to know how all this came to be. Listen to this poem a lady wrote about your history."
The Making of a Creole of Color, Soup a la Black Creole by Marianne Jacques Newman. Put your Africans and Frenchmen in a large iron skillet. Then add Indians. Stir slowly over a moderate fire until your roux is light brown. Add Spaniards and Germans. Stir and cook until mixture is a rich brown. This takes about 100 years. Then add Italians and cook slowly for another 60 years. Have ready 1 dozen Chinese and 2 heaping tablespoons of Irishmen. Be very careful of browning this mixture as it burns quickly. When well browned, pour this mixture into the large pot containing the Anglo-Americans. Cover tightly and simmer slowly for about 35 years. Remove from flame, leave covered an additional 25 years. A few drops of multi-ethnic liquid seasoning adds materially to a piquant flavor. This is the secret of a very tasty soup. Note: this soup is a rich source of the U.S. recommended daily allowance of brotherhood and sisterhood and will serve all America.
Creoles are predominantly Catholic. I mean, we're a Catholic city. And there are different saints for different occasions. For example, if you lose something and you want to find it, you pray to St. Anthony. St. Roch, call your dog. If you see a strange dog, you say, St. Roch, call your dog. St. Roch, call your dog. And I've seen that work. Now, I'm not sure if the dog just got tired and crossed the street, but remember when I was little, and I was always told to do that. Don't run or anything from dog. And I say, St. Roch, call your dog. St. Roch, call your dog. And the dog crossed the street. Oh, St. Anne, find me a man. That was a typical saint. I've heard that. So if you want a spouse or a mate, you pray to St. Anne. Now, if you want to get rid of one, you pray to St. Rita to make him walk out the door. For the eyes, you pray to St. Lucy. And St. Jude is for hopeless causes. But I also heard that St. Jude is a vengeful saint. So if you offer him something, and you say, I'm going to say a rosary every day at such and such a time, and you neglect or fail to do so, that he will take something else that you treasure.
Well, I'm a good Catholic. My mama told me that. She said, Junior, if you do so many bad things, why you want to eat meat on Friday? I said, all right, Ma. And I burn a candle every day. And my candle is St. Jude. And St. Jude's good to rip.
The colored people had 5 pews in the back of the church where the colored people could sit down. There was no place else in those days for people to go. We had to go to that church. But not long after that, Corpus Christi and all the families around here, they were all Corpus Christi. That was one of the biggest parishes in Louisiana.
We were Catholic. We went to Corpus Christi Church for catechism and for Mass. If